Hello everyone and welcome to the GS room. Usually you are the one who's asking all the questions, right? Today it's the payback time. Every aspirant says that current affairs is tough, and that's something that we have also been fed to believe.
The current affairs is all about understanding with common sense.
AI right now, climate change, geopolitics, these constantly dominate these headlines, right?
Artificial intelligence is something which is necessary, which is science and technology oriented. There is no field which is untouched by AI. Can be World War III which might come also.
If let's say current affairs was some movie, which one would it be? What do you think?
Waqf Amendment Act we are having, and the issues are rotating around temples and masjids.
Can you share one example of how a single topic or single issue connects a GS1, GS2, 3 or 4? Everybody gets bored with current affairs at some point of time. So what is your personal daily current affairs routine? Do you ever get bored? Because if you don't get bored, you're not a human. Hello everyone and welcome to the GS room. This is the place where we take the syllabus seriously but not ourselves. And every week we'll sit down with the best minds of Vishnu IAS to decode the syllabus, demystify the subject and help you understand what UPSC is all about. And today, to start off this series, the best possible way is to start off with the love-hate relationship, the subject that every student ensures he tries to do his best but somehow manages to mess up completely, and that's current affairs. And with us today, we have none other than the legend himself, the anthropology expert, and the faculty for current affairs and ethics, the director of Vishnu IAS, Vishnu sir. Hello, Vishnu sir.
Hello, sir.
Usually you are the one who's asking all the questions, right? So today it's the payback time. If I have to ask you, describe current affairs in possibly one word.
Yes.
How would you describe it? Maybe is it exciting, exhaustive, or maybe explosive?
It is exciting. Why I take this particular word called as exciting? Because we have to understand that known is drop and unknown is ocean. When we have this particular feeling, then whatever we read, whatever we come across, then we have an excitement feeling. So the current affair is all about knowing new things. Current affair is all about knowing about unknown things. Why? Because kal kya hota hai? Tomorrow what will happen we don't know. And tomorrow morning we will be reading about the same. So it's a new thing. So that new thing will excite me. The new thing should excite the readers. The new thing should excite the aspirants. Then what will happen? The very thing called as curiosity will make them to learn more, will make them to understand more, because of which there is a high chances of remembering the same. So it is not explosion, or it is not none other things. It is only the excitement which is associated with current affairs.
Fair enough. I mean, though for most of us, current affairs is, like that friend who keeps on talking but never stops.
Yes.
Okay. So every aspirant says that current affairs is tough, and that's something that we have also been fed to believe. Is it really tough, or are we just overcomplicating something that is meant to be common sense?
Very good. The word which you use is common sense is 100% correct. Current affairs is nothing but the day-to-day update on the same concept. So if we have X, then X plus 1, then X plus 2, then X plus 3. So it's just an updation. So when we have the strong command on the X, then X plus 1, X plus 2, X plus 3 is none other, is nothing, no matters it is. So I mainly tells about the current affairs is all about understanding with the common sense. For example, I will tell you, what are all the things we learned or we took from British into our Indian constitution. Then I made myself a phrase of which are associated with current affairs. Like, for example, the recently what happened yesterday, the Supreme Court CJI told that we are the legacy of British. So after 75 years of independence also, the CJI is telling that we are following the same legacy of British. Then here comes the question, what is the legacy of the British? So I remember like this: Parle-G, Parley, biscuit, price. Parley. PA, parliamentary system, R, rule of law, LE, legislative procedure. So in the same way, parley, biscuit, BI, bicameralism, and prize. Prize means prerogatives of writs. So we need to understand, we need to apply the common sense, we need to keep some mnemonics. Then what will happen? This subject will be more interesting and the subject will be associated with our common sense.
That's interesting. Parleji. That's great. So, tell me, what's one recent news event that for you perfectly defines the spirit of UPSC and at least the spirit of UPSC preparation? What do you feel? I mean, that blend of chaos, the blend of curiosity.
What happened with respect to Ukraine and Russia is a blend of current affairs, is a blend of UPSC, is a blend of what is happening across geopolitically. I link like this. If I need to remember, then how I link it. So the war is happening between the Russia and Ukraine. So I need to remember it. I need to link this particular Russia and Ukraine association with UPSC. So obviously the geopolitical issue, we are completely dependent upon food grains on Ukraine. Our fertilizers are dependent upon Ukraine. If from Ukraine the fertilizers are coming, then India will have very good fertilizers. So in this way, it is a geopolitical issue. But at the same time, how I have to remember the issue which is happening between the Russia and Ukraine. I made this story for myself and I taught in my classroom also. Like for example, Russia is the husband and Ukraine is the wife, and the Russia and Ukraine got divorced. And now the Ukraine can marry any man. Now the Ukraine is ready to get married to the NATO. And the Russia is telling that no, you should not marry NATO. Then Ukraine is asking that anyhow you divorced me. What's matter if I marry any other person? Why you are crying? Then Russia is telling that no, you divorced, but still you should be alone, but you should not get married to other person. So in this way, when we link the current affairs, the current things, we can remember and we can enjoy the subject as well.
That's true. A lot of one-side lovers would relate with that. Absolutely correct. So on this note, you've been teaching GS for so many years now. I mean, there must have been some very absurd or some hilarious doubt a student has asked about current affairs. So if you can tell us, there is no need to protect them at all.
Yes.
Feel free. Tell us, please.
One thing which wondered me also, but at the same time, I have some sort of a brotherly feeling to that particular person. The generally students will tell that, sir, tell me one current affairs book. Give me one book, sir. वो वाले book में मुझे page number पूछो, line number पूछो, वो वाले line आपको मैं बोल देता हूँ. Means इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि the students will want one book. They don't want to develop themselves. They don't want to improve their cognition. They don't want to understand the subject. They want to just make their preparation easy. They want their preparation to be by-hearted. They want their preparation to be rotating around one particular thing. So I felt that there should not be only one particular source for current affairs preparation. There should be multiple sources so that they can update. So asking such questions like, sir, give me एक book, वो वाली book में से प्रश्न आना चाहिए, questions need to become, and I should be in a position to answer all these questions. So this type of questions will make me wonder.
That magical book everybody wants to search for. That's true. That's
एक genie.
If let's say current affairs was a movie,
yeah,
which one would it be? What do you feel?
See, recently I am seeing one particular trailer called as Haq, Shabanu case. So 100% the Shabanu case might be of 1980s, but however it is relevant today. Waqf Amendment Act we are having, Hindu-Muslim issues are happening, and the issues are rotating around temples and masjids. For all these issues, the standard is Shabanu case. I'm waiting for November 6th, the movie is going to be released. So why I want to look into that particular movie? So that I can understand what is the maintenance act which was been given by the Supreme Court of India, what was the maintenance judgment given by the Supreme Court of India in order to give maintenance to the woman who was been given talaq. So such a sort of movies we can link with the impoverished woman of one particular community, or the maintenance to any woman who doesn't have support from the family system.
Especially after so many years of being together.
Yes.
That's true. In fact, we'd love to also see what was going on in the crowd's mind at the point of time to pressurize the government into taking such a step. That's true. Absolutely correct, sir. Okay, so on a serious note, sir, how has UPSC's demand for current affairs at least evolved over time? I mean, if you think of it, do we just mug up facts, or do we also deal with real issues and analyze more? What is your take on that?
It is a four-phase understanding. It's a four-step understanding. Starts with facts, then analysis, then interpretation, then judgment. For example, 1950s, the literacy rate for general and the literacy rate for STs, 9% is for STs and 24% for general. Then we have 2011 census. When we again open the 2011 census, the literacy rate of ST is 59%. The literacy rate of general is 74%. 74 minus 15, 15%. 24 minus 9, 15%. Means what? The gap between the general literacy rate at the time of independence and the gap between the literacy rate at 2011 census also same 15%. Means the government didn't took any extra measures to bridge the gap. So same percentage, same proportion of the efforts they were been keeping year on year, decade on decade, decade on decade, but they never increased the effort. They never came up with a new approach such that this literacy rate between the underprivileged and the privileged, the gap should be bridged. So this we need to understand not only just from the perspective of facts, analysis, decade on decade, then interpreting why the government is doing and coming to the judgment that the efforts of the government is not on par with what is required.
Absolutely correct. That's a very pointed out relationship actually, that the gap has remained the same despite so many efforts we've taken in this regard, right? The reservation policy, schemes, programs, etc. That's very correct actually. Also related to that same point, often students do get confused between news and issue.
Yes.
So what's the news? What's the issue? How do you help them see the bigger picture?
With an example, I want to prove it or to relate it. News is SIR, which happened in Bihar. Now the government of India is planning to do the same in 12 other states with union territories covering 51 crore population. SIR, which is called as Special Intensive Revision of Electoral Rolls. This is the news all about. Then issue is about electoral reforms. So what are all the electoral reforms? Whether SIR is really going to ensure democracy, whether SIR is really going to remove the ghost voters, whether SIR is really going to be effective in re-implementing democracy in the country, whether the SIR is going to remove the muscle power and money power from the democratic setup. So, SIR is the news and electoral reforms is the issue all about. So, news item of SIR, we have to understand the issue is all about electoral reforms.
If you're being honest, as faculty, we understand that they're reading, but maybe they're not connecting the dots.
Yes.
That's true. Also, with AI right now, climate change, geopolitics, these constantly dominate these headlines, right? How do aspirants decide what is actually UPSC worthy? I mean, should I just follow trends or should I just see as to what lasts? What exactly do they need to follow?
Artificial intelligence is something which is necessary, which is science and technology oriented. There is no field which is untouched by AI. Number one. Number two, geopolitical issues, what is happening across. For example, Trump ने कुछ tariffs बढ़ा दिया. So obviously there is some impact which is happening across in India. So geopolitical issues, climate change, which is called as global common. So something happened to the climate, some change happened to the climate. Obviously it is going to impact any individual who is living in India. So these are all the things which are getting impacted to a common man. Whatever is impacting a common man is a subject of reading for UPSC aspirant. So वो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस हो, वो क्वांटम मैकेनिक्स हो, वो नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी हो, वो क्लाइमेट चेंज हो, वो डीप माइनिंग हो, वो जियोपॉलिटिकल इश्यूज हो, और इट कैन बी वर्ल्ड वॉर 3 which might come also. So these all things compulsory a Indian citizen, a common man sitting at home will be impacted. Whatever the common man is going to be impacted is a subject of reading for an UPSC aspirant.
True. Let's hope we don't see World War 3, hopefully, right? But that's true. Because, we should not just follow trends. Yes. What lasts is also important. And yes, as you rightfully said, ultimately they're selecting people for civil services. So what impacts a common man is something that they should know about. Yes. That's perfect. Now, here's a tricky one slightly. Do you think UPSC is more interested right now in awareness or judgment? For example, I mean, are they testing what a student knows, or are they now testing what a student thinks?
Yes. It is a combination of both. It's an awareness with judgment. Awareness should happen. Means what is happening across. A UPSC aspirant need to know initially. When he know, then only he can make a judgment. Without knowing, he cannot make a judgment. So, how much facts is important, that much analysis is important. How much facts is important, that much judgment is important. So, in this context, compulsory, every aspirant need to know what is happening across. At the same time, what are the implications of it? What is going to happen to it? For example, triple talaq ने सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया ने बैन कर दिया था. उसके बाद a legislation was been brought and a legislation was also been done. So it's not only about understanding talaq ki bidat. It is not only about understanding talak, talak, talak. It is also about understanding how it is going to impact the minorities, how it is going to impact the relationships between the minorities and the majority, how the minorities are going to take it, whether minorities are going to take it in offensive way or the minorities are going to welcome it. So there are so many aspects which are associated to each and every topic, each and every fact, each and every thing which is happening across.
Along the same lines, if you could redesign, let's say, how students study current affairs, what's one old habit that's carrying on that you would ban forever? That control C, control delete completely.
Yes. One thing I will tell you, as you know, in our academy, we will be providing free reading room for our GS students. They will be sitting and they will be reading. Every day, as you know, I will be checking once going into the reading room whether they are reading or not. I saw a couple of students in the beginning. I warned them like anything. What they used to do, they used to keep the newspaper in front of them and start writing. अरे इफ दैट इज द केस यू टेक जीरोक्स ऑफ इट मैन. अगर आपको क्या न्यूज़पेपर में है, व्हाट इज देयर इन द न्यूज़पेपर, इफ यू वांट टू राइट द सेम देन यू बेटर यू टेक द जीरोक्स. सो नेवर विश, दिस इज अ वेरी बिग मिस्टेक a UPSC aspirant never should do. Don't copy what is there in the newspaper. Read the newspaper, understand the newspaper, and write what you understood in your own language. Please, kindly don't write what is there in the newspaper. They just write it. They just, whatever is there, I told them, go and take Xerox of it if you want.
Without understanding
without
the context of it.
yes.
Okay, yes. That's that rote learning still there sometimes. Okay, sir. Now let's also address the elephant in this room, and that is sources. And please be honest. How many sources should a student really have? I mean, 1, 2, 10, 15. What do you think?
I believe that there is a requirement of 3 sources. Number 1, your teacher. So everyone which is there in my mind, I want to tell that usually the rankers will tell sometimes that I prepared by my own, but if we ask them, compulsory they will be having one mentor or one faculty they will be following. So your teacher's notes or your teacher's material or your teacher recommended book, one source. Number 2, standard book. For everything there is a standard book. Third, internet. These are the 3 sources a average aspirant who aspires to become all India rank 1 should go through. These 3 materials, not more than this. One, teacher's notes. Other is standard book which you believe or which your friends recommended or wherever you come across, one book. And third is internet. Whoever uses these 3 resources, obviously they are going to have a very good content in their notes.
Because aspirants also keep on switching sources every month.
Yes.
Even for say current affairs, for example, even a monthly magazine, for example, they keep on switching, trying, testing. So do you think that's a material problem or a mindset problem?
It's a mindset problem, sir. A person, he should be consistent first of all. So in order to be consistent, he need to build his mindset. The mindset should be strong, the mindset should be consistent. So once the mindset is strong, then we will believe these 3 sources which I told, and we will prepare also. There is one thing which is linked to it. When you have a strong mindset, with that strong mindset, you had decided he is going to be my mentor, and you started following that particular mentor. Then what will happen, if you get rank, then your decision is correct. If you didn't get a rank, if you didn't get the result, then obviously there is one person whom you can blame. So there is a chance that you can escape the blame. So there is a need for a mindset. We have to fix one particular person or fix one particular strategy, fix one particular book, fix one particular sources. If not, what will happen? It is like a fly moving here and there.
So difficult to pinpoint also what the problem is. That's true. Maybe I think that is the mindset to escape the responsibility. That's it. And since we're discussing on this newspaper thing, I mean, that's the real guilt trip, right? Yes. Reading the newspaper every day, that thing comes on the door and then you are suffering. Now, how can someone convert that daily punishment, I call, into a very productive ritual? What do you feel?
So as I told you in the beginning, number 1, don't write what is there in the newspaper. You need to understand it. You need to write it. Number 1. Number 2, students generally are reading everything what is present in the newspaper. So there are some articles which are relevant for UPSC. There are some articles which are relevant for politics. So never you should read those articles which are relevant to politicians. So there is a skill which is required to develop in you. You need to identify. In everyday newspaper, it can be Hindu or it can be Indian Express, any newspaper you are reading, there will not be more than 6 articles. आपको वो वाला 6 articles पकड़ के, identify करके, वो वाला 6 articles आपको पढ़ना चाहिए, उससे आपको notes लिखना पढ़ना चाहिए. So that is a big guilty what you are doing is reading complete newspaper.
That takes 2-3 hours of time, precious time.
Precious.
And reading random articles written by politicians also makes no sense. It
sense.
actually contains lot about the political motives
Yes.
than something that can be used in the exam.
Yes.
Absolutely correct.
For example, now in the newspapers, everything is about Bihar elections. So whether we are going to read about everything about Bihar elections now, no, it's irrelevant.
In fact, 90% of it is not relevant. Even for a BPSC exam,
Yes.
exam in Bihar as well. That's true. That's true. Because this happens a lot to students. It could be a marriage function. It could be maybe they're busy, right? They had heartbreak. We don't know, right? Suppose I miss 1 week of current affairs. Now, what do I do? Cry about it? Start over again? Or maybe just chill and revise the basics? What do you suggest?
Start over. Never we should stop there. And crying out is completely opted out. So we have to start. There are chances we get fever, we will be unwell, some family function will be there, and you had a strategy. In that strategy, you can be 1 week current affairs you left. Then never you stop there. Next week, you have to keep the double effort. It's all about working hours. You need to increase your working hours and you need to put double effort and you have to cover the last week's current affairs. And you should never miss the current affairs. Why? Because पता नहीं UPSC उसी week में ऐसे पूछ सकता है. So you should move on. You should move on.
I mean, the gap should not be there.
Yes.
That rightfully pointed out. What if the question comes from that very week? Luck factor, of course, luck factor. That's true.
And we should believe that we don't have luck.
Luck favors the brave. We have to put in the hard work. I mean, you have seen, I should say, thousands of aspirants so far, and successful ones, I would say. What separates those who just read current affairs from those who actually understand it?
It's all about understanding, sir. For example, as I told you, SIR example. So what we are going to learn from this particular SIR program, or what we are going to understand from this triple talaq abolition or the judgment or the act which came into existence, it's all about how much we understand. It can be with respect to literacy rate. It's not only the numbers. The literacy rates, the child sex ratios are not the numbers. They are something which are invisible. We need to catch those invisibles. What are there? We need to interpret it. We need to analyze it. We need to understand from social, economical, political, cultural context. So when we understand in all the dimensions of that particular event, that particular issue, that particular news, that particular fact, then it produces rank. If I see all the rankers, they analyze in multiple dimensions.
Because understanding seems to be rarer nowadays in revision, right? So that's true. That's true. Okay, sir. Let me get to one part that excites rather every topper, and that term is used a lot. You just use that as well about linkage.
Yes.
That multi-dimensional approach. My question is, can you share one example of how a single topic or single issue connects say GS1, GS2, 3 or 4?
For example, sir, right now in South India, if I take particularly, there was a cyclone called as Monta. So Monta cyclone is there. Nearly for 50% of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana got impacted because of this cyclone. In GS1, we have geography. Nearly 50 to 80 marks will come from geography topic of mains GS1 paper. What are the reasons for occurrence of cyclone? How many cyclones were been deadly up to now? What are the mitigation steps taken by the government of India? These things we need to understand from GS1 point of view. GS2 point of view, governance. What are the measures which are being taken by the government eventually? What are the best case studies which we can learn from the administrative setup, which they used it and reduced the death toll? And they reduced the disasters. They reduced the impact of disasters. From GS2 we can talk. GS3, economy point of view. These disasters are going to impact how much of the economy? And if these disasters are been not taken properly, obviously the people who got impacted, there is a high chance that they might join into Naxalism, internal security point of view. GS4, ethics, ethical example, a dedicated, a committed bureaucrat, an IAS officer, how he worked. For example, there was an IAS officer called as Krishna Teja. In 2018, he was posted in Kerala. There was a very big cyclone which was been affected Kerala. He was the one person who is responsible for evacuating 2 lakh people within 24 hours. It's a classic example. So how a bureaucrat need to be behaved in the emergency situations. So one cyclone can be an example for any dimension.
That's amazing. Geography, governance, DM, also internal security, ethics. That's I think that's one way to learn current affairs as well. As you said earlier as well, linking it to multiple dimensions. That's true. I mean, that is the magic actually. That one topic suddenly becomes 4 answers, 5 answers. That's true. Now this one is slightly more philosophical. are we teaching current affairs as a subject, or should we start teaching it maybe as a way of thinking? What do you feel?
It's a way of thinking which should ignite the thought process. It should make us to think broader. So as I told you the example of cyclone, it can be the example of elections also. How we had a thought process, how it will enrich our cognition so that we will be thinking out of the box. So every bureaucrat, a UPSC aspirant today will be a bureaucrat tomorrow. He need to have one quality which is called as thinking out of the box. The thinking out of the box can be possible when he explores, when he imagines, when he does risk, when he reads more, when he understands more. So finally it is understanding which is most inevitable thing.
I mean, students, also often mug up schemes. They forget all these schemes in the exam hall.
Yes.
Do you think is there any hack to make retention more effortless, maybe at least less painful?
Obviously we need to remember some mnemonics.
Like you mentioned Parleji earlier.
Barely true. So this type of mnemonics you need to make, but we cannot depend solely on that. So for a few things we can make such mnemonics, but blindly we cannot depend upon cheat codes. We need to understand. We need to understand geographically, culturally, socially, politically, economically, in all the dimensions. When we understand it, whatever is there, we can remember in the examination hall.
So, sir, just sticking to the same argument and extending it a bit ahead, I mean, how can students turn current affairs into value addition? I mean, that answer writing gold that every evaluator craves to see in the paper.
For example, sir, yesterday I was been reading this. This is also a question in GS1 of mains.
Okay.
Why the family system is collapsing? What are the reasons behind the collapse of family system? And suggest suitable measures. This is one PYQ as well. There was a report, National Crime Reports Bureau. Out of 100 marriages, 40% of the marriages, means 40 marriages are climbing the steps of courts for divorce. So when we are talking about the collapse of family system, when we are talking about the destruction of the family system, we need to add this fact. When we produce this evidence, National Crime Reports Bureau, that which is been given by the Ministry of Home Affairs itself is telling by a static report that 40 marriages, 40 newly married couple are climbing the steps. So, agar humne evidence ke saath, if we write the answer, no, then the evaluator will be impressed and the evaluator will give more marks. So then we need to explore it in from social point of view, like what woman is becoming self-independent, because of which earlier type of patriarchal system is reducing, because of which there is a chance that male is thinking that my dominance is getting reduced, so I don't want to continue with this lady, hence he is going for divorce. So social context, economical context, political context, cultural context, so in various contexts when we look into this particular issue, then with evidences when we write, we will get more marks.
That's true. Divorce is actually a very sensitive topic these days, right? We have seen court cases where the wife forgot to add salt.
Yes.
The case goes to court. Or the husband forgot to take her out on a dinner.
Yes.
And that case goes to court. That's true. That's true. Also, finally, I mean, just to finish off or wrap up this part of our discussion, if there is one mantra to master current affairs, if you can think of it, what would yours be?
It's about analysis. It's about understanding in different perspectives. That should be the main motto. It's never about remembering, it's never about by hearting, it's all about understanding. As we started with the same line, and I am also concluding with the same line, it's all about understanding.
Okay, so beyond the syllabus a bit, so see, sir, frankly, everybody gets bored with current affairs at some point of time. So what is your personal daily current affairs routine? I mean, do you ever get bored? Because if you don't get bored, you're not a human. So.
I have to get bored. Then there is an app called as InShots.
Okay.
I follow this InShots. Whenever I free, I go through that particular InShot, like just flipping up and down. Then I get the information which is happening around. So that is one particular thing which I depend upon. If I feel interested, then I will go into the Google and I will search more about it. Then I will grasp it. Then if any important point or important facts is there, I will copy it and I will put in my notepad in my mobile phone itself. So in that way, I will be developing my daily current affairs content.
Because this journey is long, students do feel burnt out. So if you had to give one, say, non-academic advice, a piece of advice to someone who's feeling stuck in the preparation, what would that be?
Love the subject. Live with the subject. Don't feel yourself exhausted with the subject. That exhaustion will happen if and only if you don't love the subject. So you have to enjoy the journey. When we enjoy the journey, then it can be any field we can master.
That's true. Loving the subject, that's more important. Also, what's one misconception that you feel about current affairs that you also wish that every student unlearn that misconception?
Yes, sir. Very good question. I was waiting for this, which I want to tell to students across the India. When you make the notes of current affairs, kindly please don't make the notes on daily basis. They will be making on daily basis. They will put the date and whatever is happening across, they will make the notes. Making notes is a good per se, but however, I don't tell it is the best. Then what is the best way, sir? Make subject wise. Science and technology, what is happening across? Agriculture, what is happening across? Polity, what is happening across? When you make the current affairs of subject wise, then with relevant to subject, you can develop your content also. You can remember easily also. You can read easily also. So never make the current affairs notes on daily basis. Make the current affairs notes on subject basis.
So there you have it, students and aspirants making notes on current affairs on not a daily basis but topic wise.
Yes.
It's easy to connect, easy to relate, easy to revise as well. And so one of my favorite questions that I love to ask every faculty in general is, do you think preparation for, let's say, your subject, current affairs, can actually make someone a better citizen? Of course, it will make somebody a better aspirant and candidate, but can studying and preparing for current affairs make someone a better citizen?
100%, sir. For example, what are the laws which are happening across? I don't tell better citizen, but empowered citizen, a learned citizen, a known citizen. So the new laws which are coming upon. For example, the Verma committee which was been constituted after the Delhi rape case, then a criminal law amendment act was been done in 2013. That particular law told that stalking a woman on the social media is also a criminal offense. If a boy come to know about this, he knew this by reading current affairs, then obviously the person who is stalking will stop it because he got a fear that stalking is also a criminal offense. So the woman will be safe, he will be safe. These all things are happening because he's learning about current affairs.
Knowledge is empowering, truly. That's true, that's true. And very rightfully said, it empowers the citizen. True, true. Rather than becoming better, I mean, of course, it empowers them, truly. And so this last question finally is for every student who is listening and who secretly believes that I can never master current affairs. What would you tell them? One honest and hopeful message from a teacher who has seen it all in his life. What's that one message, sir?
One cannot master current affairs. Why? Because current affair is ocean. So on day by day, now also the current affairs is developing. As time is ticking up, current affairs are coming up, coming up. So we cannot master the current affairs, but we can enjoy the current affair. We can love the current affairs. For example, a few things which I make. For example, Article 143. Recently, the President of India asked the Supreme Court of India on few occasions with respect to advice. Then President 143 Supreme Court. President 143 Supreme Court means President loves the Supreme Court under Article 143. Means what? Whatever the President want to know, he will be asking or she will be asking the Supreme Court of India. So on which issues the President has been asked. So we need to make such sort of things which will refresh us, which will make us to learn more, which will make us to love more, which will make us to enjoy the subject. If you enjoy the subject, my dear students, 100% you will crack any examination, any field. For any field, wherever you want to cherish or you want to grow, you want to progress, you have to love the subject. You need to love the sector.
So there you have it. That was absolutely brilliant. The perfect curtain raiser for the GS room. Now we understand the chaos and the curiosity, the linkage, the multi-dimensional approach, the mnemonics, the importance of also not making notes, and those students who keep on asking that magical book. I hope now you understand how it can be so amazing for a faculty to respond that there is no single magical book, and please don't copy from newspaper, as Sir had himself said. So thank you so much, sir, for being the very first guest and setting the tone for this entire GS room. Because it stands for curiosity, it stands for clarity, and of course a bit of challenge for our aspirants. And to everyone watching, we'll be back once again next week, same time, same place, and with one more GS subject one more amazing faculty, his or her insight into his or her subject to let you know and understand what UPSC is all about. What does it expect from any aspirant, and also to help you relax, calm down and enjoy the journey. So if you like the video, please subscribe to the channel and also share your views, your comments on what you want me to ask from the next faculty. Till then, stay curious, stay consistent, and of course, remember, it's not just general studies, it's the GS room. Jai Hind.